All right, welcome back to part 2 of our taxation on Social Security for single folks. You can use this for married people too, but I want to show you single people because it's a similar concept, a little bit different from taxation, but you can get the gist of how it works for married people. All right. So we have a PIA, the amount and if you haven't watched the first part of this, by all means, you got to go back to figure out how we got what we did. So we have a PIA of $2,137 a month. That's the month we get out our full retirement age from Social Security. Now remember, there is no spouse, so it's just old Josh, all right? But we had $3,477 of after-tax take-home, net take-home, after taxes, 401k, FICA, and all that. So we have a deficit of $1,340 a month, which is $16,000 a year. We have a deficit of $16,000 a year. All right, so we got to figure out where's that going to come from. Well, you got to think. Remember, in Social Security, they take your top 35 years of work. They take your top 35 years of work. So if you've been working from 22 to 62, for instance, well, you have 40 years. So inherently, my dog is whining over there. He's trying to get a toy, which I hid from him because it's not a toy. It's the opposite of a toy. So we got 30 years of work, 40 years of work, but only 35 count towards Social Security. All right, so the other 5 are absent. But those other 5, you were able to put money into a 401k and whatnot. So the other 5 are just not included in Social Security, but they're certainly included in your overall 401k construct. So we're going to say we worked 40 years and we averaged $3,000 a year into our 401k. Now, last episode, I had you put in $6,000 into your 401k because that's based on your last years of earnings at $60,000. We had you put in 10%. Well, the problem is you weren't always making $60,000. You were making 58, 56, 54, and whatnot. You were getting salary increases each and every year from inflation or otherwise, but you weren't always putting $6,000 a year into your 401k. What is that noise? Hey, buddy, pipe down, bud. Where's your toy? All right, good boy. So what we're going to do is it's okay. Good boy. All right, let's just have a little pop join us for a second. Oops, sorry about that. So we're going to have you putting in an average of $3,000 a year into your 401k. All right, so $3,000 a year, and your company matched you at $3,000 a year. So your last year you put in $6,000. The first year you put in $1,000, and then we averaged $3,000 a year over the 40 years you've been working. Hope that makes sense. Because Social Security, the average index monthly earnings is indexed with what's called the average wage index. So that's indexed with basically cost of living inflation. Your 401k, though, is indexed essentially based on your rate of return you could get in the markets. So I'm going to say you invested aggressively. You put in $3,000 on average, even though the first year you only put in $500 to $1,000, and the last year put $6,000 in because we have 40 years of work history. We're just going to say you put in $3,000 on average. So let me put him down, and we'll start counting some numbers here. Good boy. All right, so we're going to start saying, all right, if we put in $3,000 a year on average, and we did it for 40 years at 8% a year, we're going to have, oops. So that'd be, and then, on top of that, our company also put in a match. So for every dollar we put in, they put $1. So if we put $3,000 a year in, they also put $3,000 a year in. So it's $6,000 a year was going into our portfolio each and every year. All right, so $6,000 a year. Look, people say, but you weren't putting $3,000 in 1922. You're only putting $1,000. Look, I'm just averaging it. It doesn't really matter that. I mean, it does in terms of real numbers. You'll have your own numbers. It's just an average. Don't get too caught up on how much was going in at the beginning, how much is going in at the end. I'm just using a simple average, all right? Because at the end of the day, let's just keep it simple, stupid. Now, it's not going to matter that much different. I mean, it could, depending on how much you truly were putting in. If you're putting a whole lot at the back end of your work and not much at the front end, it could be different. But just for simplicity, we're averaging $3,000 a year. So $6,000 a year is our payment. We started with nothing. We got 8% a year interest. We did it for 40 years. We have $274,000 in our 401k. All right, $274,000 in our 401k. All right, so we know we need $16,000 a year to make ends meet. And so we're just going to use my old standard 5% rule here. We're going to say how much will 5% give us times 0.05. And I don't know, it looks like pretty close, I imagine. Let's take a gander here. It's probably about 14,000. So 274 times 0.05, 13,700. So that'd be 13,700. That's not enough. So we're going to say we need 5.5%. Now, there's a reason why I'm not worried, but that's more than a 5% rule. I don't care. We're going to be fine. So 274,000 times 5.5%, 15,000. So we're going to go 274,000 times 6%. There you go, 16,400. All right, so we're going to take 6% a year out. All right, that's 16,440. That covers our needs, does it not? Right, because we need 16,000 a year. We got 16,000 coming from our portfolio, 2137 from Social Security. Now, here's where it gets interesting from a taxation perspective. All right, you're single. Here's what we got to figure out. So we got 2137, and we got 1640. So 2137 times 12 is going to be 25,644. 25,644 plus 1644. Add those together. We got $42,084. That's what our total income is, $42,080. Gross. You've got to factor taxes. Let me just tell you real quick why that doesn't bother me at all, because your expenditures are not going to keep going up with the rate of inflation. They're just not. They're going to go down. Now, if you're worried about your expenditures going up with the rate of inflation, you might want to take a little bit less out. And on top of that, we're just trying to meet our needs before we retire. I'm just trying to show you it's not that hard to do. It's just not. But here, our spending doesn't go like this. It actually goes like this once you hit retirement. For most people. That doesn't mean it will for you, but for most people it does. So you got to figure out your own thing. But I'm not worried at all about 6%. All right, so $42,000. That's our gross income. All right. Now we're going to figure out how to figure out taxes, because you have to figure 1640. We got to figure out taxes, because if you don't figure out taxes, well, you could be leaving some on the table here, or you might actually be taking more than 4 or 5 or 6% a year. 16,440 is what we have coming out. All right. So what we do is we take we got to figure out provisional income. So we take half of our Social Security. Again, that's 2137 times 12. It's 25,644. We times that by 2, or divide that by 2. 12,822. Add 1640. So that's going to give us 6, 2, 12, 9, $29,262 is our provisional income. Provisional income shows how much of our Social Security benefit is subject to taxation. $29,262. All right, now if you're single, the first $25,000 is tax-free. The next 25 to 34, 50% of that is subject to income tax. Anything above 34, 85% is taxable to Social Security. So in this case, we have 29,262 minus 25,000, which means, excuse me, buddy, which means 4,262 is times 0.5. So 4,262 times 0.5, $2,131 is taxable Social Security. That's it. Of our Social Security benefit, 25,644, only 2,130 is taxable. Does that make sense? That's critically important to understand. So I'm going to write that down over here, what our taxable Social Security is, which is 2131. Taxable Social Security. All right? So bear with me. Now, we're not done yet. That's not the taxes we pay. That's just our taxable Social Security benefit. So, I mean, what's that? 10% of our benefit, less than 10% of our benefit is actually subject to taxation, which is the beauty of relying heavily on Social Security. I'm telling you, man, I cannot stress this enough. I can't tell you how many people know, oh, Social Security is going dead. They're going to steal it. They're giving it to illegals. Trump, Obama, blah. Crazy. All right, so we got 2131 is our taxable Social Security. And then we got $16,440 is our other taxable income. And that's going to be what? 18,571 is our AGI. 18,571 is our AGI. Well, we know for a fact we have a standard deduction. I can't remember what it is. I'm just saying 12,000. I'm saying 12,000. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. So we have $6,571 of taxable income times 10, because that's going to be in the 10% tax bracket. So 657 is our taxes. All right. So $651 is our taxes. In Georgia, there is no state income tax if you're over 65, so we are good. I mean, it really depends on your age, but we're just going to assume there's no state income tax for you. We need a 16,440 to get. I mean, 16,000 to get by where we were living off before we retired. Well, we're going to fall short from that by about 100 and. We got to take 16,440. So we got 16,440 minus 657. It's $15,783 is what we net after tax. So 15,703 is what we net after tax. We needed 16,000. We're not quite there, so we're down. We're short by what's that? $217 short. For the whole year. I think we're going to be just fine. And that's it, my friends. How you can easily retire with Social Security and saving $3,000 a year over the course of a 40-year work if you're single. And that's living like you were doing before, right there. But before $3,000 a year, Social Security, living like you were before you quit your crappy old job. Because don't forget, net of taxes. And it's not hard to do. In fact, I would even argue you probably don't need that much on a monthly basis simply because you're no longer commuting. You're simply doing all the stuff you'd cost when it goes to work, eating out more than whatnot. You're not going to do all that. So in this case, you have $217 less take home than what you did before. Now, if you want to make sure you have a little bit more, well, work another year. So instead of 2,137, you have an 8% bump on that, and then you're fine. Or you can work another couple years or wait till take Social Security until you're 70. Take money out of your IRA instead. Whatever you want to do, it's easy to get done just by putting in $3,000 a year and having Social Security. Not a problem at all. And that's the issue. If you rely more on Social Security, that just means more money in your pocket. If you rely more on 401k and IRA, that means more taxes in Uncle Sam's pocket. So just keep that in mind. Hope this helps. I'd love to hear your questions. If you like the videos, thumbs up, subscribe. We'll see you next time.